A bizarre moment at the Rogers Center still led to a Blue Jays win, but everybody in the sports world is talking about a very confusing moment. Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. With the new Proline app, you can make every pitch more interesting all baseball season long. Download it today. I'm Lindsay Dunn alongside Dan Riccio and Cabby. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone in the chat, especially on YouTube. Make sure to follow along on Off the Roster TNN, where... my goodness, do we have a lot to talk about after the Blue Jays win, which, by the way, Dan, quick update.
Yes.
They now need to finish 24-18 to finish at 500.
Yep.
There's a chance.
Well, yeah, there is a chance. That's 24-18 seems doable. My point from yesterday and last week still stands. Get through this stretch against all AL East teams until next weekend above 500. So you just got to go 6-6 over these next 12 games now. And you'll have a chance to make a push for the playoffs in September. Doesn't mean they'll make the playoffs, but they'll have a chance.
There we go.
So you're saying there's a chance. There was a long time ago when I was working at SportsCenter, I had a producer. His name was Kevin Foley, and he worked for the Toronto Blue Jays. Or he worked on the marketing department, and he came up with a slogan called the Grit and Grind Blue Jays. This is this is Vernon Wells' era, where there wasn't a lot of flash. I mean, there was Carlos Delgado. I think Sean Green had gone to LA, so it was like real. The wins, they weren't plentiful, and they came. They were they were hard to come by for a while. This feels like that moniker could apply to this team over the last. Since the All-Star break, because the wins that Toronto was grinding out, like last night, a 2-1 win, it's kind of their identity. Since, as Dan's been saying, since, I don't know, maybe April the 3rd, this Blue Jays team needs more slug. Like, where are the bats? Where's the offense? Sometimes it's optional. Last night, we got a great pitching performance from Jamison Taillon and Simeon Woods-Richardson, and the bats didn't come alive. But, man, the Blue Jays got a critical win, and they've been stacking some wins the past 2 weeks, which is part of this grit and grind identity. And, Dan, we will take them. They're not pretty, but we will take these W's, put those on the board as we continue to march towards that third wild card spot.
Jamison Taillon, unfortunately, having to leave the game, dealing with some soreness. He got an MRI after the game and was not able to speak to the media because he was getting that MRI done. We will get an update on that. We have lots of injury updates, but we have to talk about...
for the Blue Jays right now. No pitcher.
Seriously, man. We need 30 pitchers, bro.
Yeah, it's like they fixed Jamison Taillon and then immediately forearm tightness.
It was crazy. And just adds to a weird season, a weird moment that has happened in the Blue Jays season. We do have to talk about what happened in the 7th, which still many people don't understand. There was confusion in the ballpark, confusion on the broadcast, confusion in broadcasts and houses around North America, including current and former MLB players not knowing what the heck happened. Let me tell you that in the Rogers Center, the wave started. People were getting restless because there was about a 16-minute delay.
Yep.
We're going to play what happened, and then we'll hear what John Schneider was explained from the refs, and then we're going to dissect this to the cows come home. And yes, I'm from Western Canada, but so you watch this on the scoreboard, which is, by the way, run by MLB. It said there was 2 outs.
Yes.
Here, there was
which
one
was a
out.
Clear mistake. The scorer thought there was a double play. So they put 2 outs on the board, and there was not 2 outs.
Yeah, and like they throw it, get first, and then just they clear the field. It was very confusing. Truly, nobody knew what was going on except for Max Scherzer.
I mean, in fairness, Simeon Woods-Richardson and Brandon Valenzuela also were coming off the field as if they thought there was only 1 out. So it wasn't just the Red Sox that looked up at the scoreboard like, oh, there's 2 outs. The one that gets me is Sogard. Like, Sogard knows he's on first base because there is only one out. So how does he forget that there is one out on the play? If anybody should remember on the field, it is Sogard and, the first base coach of the Boston Red Sox. But whether the scoreboard said it or not, everybody on the field
weird.
should
Well, everybody
realize
was leaving.
that there is one
It
out.
was weird. And we're sitting in the press box, what is happening? And then the Red Sox reporters are sitting in front of me saying, what are you doing? Where are you going? And then after the ruling that was made, everybody was yelling, that's not how you play baseball. But if you didn't hear, here's what John Schneider had to say after the game of what was explained to him by the umps.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. I think the scoreboard had 2 outs right before the ball was put in play. What I was told was the rule is the rule. It's a timing play, right? So if the run scores from third, no matter what he did, tagging up or not, before the out is recorded at first, the run counts. Now, if we had just thrown the ball to third instead of first, obviously different story. To my knowledge, Boston did not challenge the time play. The inning was deemed to be over. Charlie Ramos waved off the run, so everyone assumed that that was that, right? So we can appeal that if we stayed on the field to appeal to third and then challenge the play where he didn't tag up, and that would have negated the run. And no one was given that opportunity to do so based on reaction from the 4 umpires, players, and yeah, it was confusing. First time for me, but I think the rule is the rule, and it was just tough because they didn't challenge the play initially. It happened in the middle of an inning when Moran's coming in to warm up, and I think players just react. Players and coaches and managers react to what is being said to them, right? So after consulting with MLB, they told me that all of my players were across the third base line before Charlie waved off the run, which I 100% disagree with. I don't know if Vlad is that fast after he got the ball at first. So we weren't given an opportunity to appeal to third. And going forward, when that play happens again in the next 100 years, if it's us, we will record the lead out at third.
Okay,
The
so
dumbest rule in all of baseball. The dumbest rule in all of baseball.
Let's clean up a couple of things here. So Ceddanne Rafaela flies out to center field. So Anthony Siegler and Nick Sogard are the Boston runners on the base paths. Siegler, so they just start running on the hit, and Siegler does not tag up at third base, and neither does Nick Sogard. So they're just kind of moving, and then when Sogard is thrown out at first base, that we believe is the third out. Like most people believe is the third out. And what John is saying there is, what's that?
And the end of the inning.
And the end of the inning. And what I don't think Schneider said there was the home plate umpire kind of ushered the Blue Jays off the field, so they could not appeal to third base where Siegler should have tagged up in order to score, because that's common knowledge. Like in order to advance, we are told or we learn at an early age that you always have to tag up to advance on a pop up or a fly out. That didn't happen. It was, by the time Vladdy catches the ball at first, Siegler had scored at home plate, and we couldn't. And Lindsay was there, so she would, there was probably some confusion in the press box as well, because on the broadcast, it's when they come back from commercial break is when John Schneider is talking to the umps, and then it's a 16-minute process for Chris Guccione, the crew chief, to go back to. He announces, "Hey, we're going to go to New York and check this out and verify something," because we at this point we didn't know that the run was going to be awarded to Boston. The run is awarded to Boston, and then Max Scherzer. There's an update from Max Scherzer, who is awesome, but he's like yelling and he's telling his teammates, like, "I've seen this before. We should have appealed to third, but we weren't allowed to appeal to. We weren't given the opportunity to appeal to third for what would have been a fourth out." And then Boston's awarded.
Which is the dumbest rule in baseball. Like, why would they have to throw the third? I don't know why it's written that way. Whoever wrote the rule book 7 million years ago wrote it wrong, okay? And it needs to be updated because that is the dumbest thing ever. I get that it is the rule, and there's one guy in the entire place, one guy in full of 40+ thousand at Rogers Center fans, umpires included, that knew what the rule was, and that's Max Scherzer because it happened in a Nationals game 5 years ago. That's the only reason Max Scherzer knew what it was. The umpires didn't know what the call was. They initially called no run because that's common sense, and then New York had to correct them because in this weird 1 in 1,000 million chance that this was going to happen at an MLB game, it actually played out this way. It's a dumb rule. I don't know. I hope that this spurs change because common sense says, like, why would you throw it to third there? You just go and get your double play and the inning's over. That's how everybody thought that it was. And I don't blame anybody for not knowing the exact details of the rule and not getting it right in that moment. I just feel like this rule needs to be updated for modern times.
Could you hear the boos on TV? I'm not sure. It was so loud in there.
Well,
after. They
once the run got awarded, yes. We could hear that. One thing that wasn't clear was, what did Chad Tracy appeal? So the Red Sox manager, did he appeal that, hey, our guy, or the Siegler from third should he get the run because he actually stepped on home plate before Vladdy catches the third out of Nick Sogard at first? Like we didn't know how this whole thing started, how the process started, but it did. And, then, through various layers, we find out that, the Blue Jays should have appealed to third because had they gotten the out at third versus the out at first, then,
but they weren't even
the
given
inning would have
time
been
to
over.
appeal.
No, you're
third,
right. You're right.
And that's. And because they didn't, that's why the run ends up scoring.
And here's another thing. I mean, if Ceddanne Rafaela just lines out to center field, that run scores anyway. Like, that's a sac fly because it was deep enough to center field. And then the game continues with 2 outs and Boston still at the plate in the 7th inning. So we don't know how. There's an alternate reality where that scenario plays out, and who knows how the game ends. But in this reality, last night that was so weird, and the Jays do thankfully come out with a victory.
Yeah,
a 2-1
thankfully,
victory
because honestly, I can't believe that a team is awarded for being completely unfocused on the field of baseball and not realizing that there is only 1 out. It's understandable if other people didn't realize and people in the stands or whatever else, but for the Red Sox to not know that there was only 1 out, even if it says it's wrong on the scoreboard, and Sogard even said after the game there have been moments where there is the incorrect amount of outs on the scoreboard, so I should know better. I should know that there is only 1 out. Thankfully, we got away with it. And yes, thankfully they did for them, because the Blue Jays, as I understand it, John Schneider said they would have played the game under protest if they did end up losing it. So it's good for everybody that the Jays ended up closing this one out and winning 2-1. Because
there would have been riots in there, man.
The steam that would have been coming out of my ears this morning would have been on another level.
I think it's still coming out.
Ended up going through the Red Sox last night.
One quick thing on that. I don't blame them that much. Like, their scoreboards are up in stadiums for a reason. It's not just for the fans.
Cabby's
it's for the
sticking up for the
too.
Players. Unbelievable. This is
listen,
the first time this has ever
baseball.
happened.
Your mind wanders.
Yeah, it's
bro.
baseball, man. Know how many outs there are. If anybody should know how many outs there are, it's Nick Sogard standing at first.
That's why they make the Jumbotrons 200 feet wide with the strikes, balls, and outs.
Cap, the Red Sox themselves are not even giving themselves any grace in this moment. They're like, we're lucky. We're lucky we got away with it.
Like
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to lend them a hand on this one.
It's like a hockey player scoring on their own net.
It's just a small. Everybody just looks at the score. I mean, that's a small thing. Luis Ariz, and we just played Philadelphia. In his first or second game with Philly, he forgot the pitch count. He thought he struck out on 2, and actually a former teammate had to be like, "No, bro, it's only 2 strikes." I mean, those things happen. It's not. I mean, it's a small.
You're throwing multiple pitches though in an inning. You have 3 outs to take into control. That's like scoring on your own neck in hockey for me. That's so bad that you forget how many outs are there. That was a ridiculous play, but it was entertaining. Because this is something that so many people have not experienced before, including many of the players. But there was a rookie player that experienced it before. He hit a home run yesterday. Asked him yesterday about this moment and hitting the home run. Take a listen.
Game. Have you ever seen anything like that? Did you understand what was happening in the moment? It wasn't exactly like that, but a situation like that came up earlier in the year, and we talked about it. Me and Casey Candell talked about it, and then right when I got in the dugout, I remembered that happened. I was like, that run's going to score, and that's going to matter.
Fly ball to right field, hit pretty well. Abreu going back, turning, watching, and it's gone.
What was it like to have your first home run here at the Rogers Center and feel that crowd's reaction?
It was awesome. It was great hearing the crowd. Get really into the game. That was a really close game, and I'm glad it was so exciting.
And then putting on the Dragon, I believe, was a new addition since the last time you hit a home run. That celebration.
That was funny. That was having to walk around with that was pretty funny.
Shout out to Charles McAdoo. Nice job. Shout out, big fella. What was it? 4 home runs with the Bisons and then 1 last night with the Toronto Blue Jays. Like 4 in a row, and then comes up last night. Nice little fly to right field. Something like that. But like, keep swinging a hot bat, big fella.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Needed the power last night.
5 home runs in his last 5 games, if you include his AAA games. Had 4 and 4, and then comes up and has a home run here in his first start here for the Blue Jays since coming back up. And it's Oppo Taco. Like, give this guy some credit, man. Like, that's some real power to take that pitch to the opposite field, basically straight right field as a right-handed bat. There's not a lot of guys in the Blue Jays lineup that can go opposite field with that kind of home run power, and that's why he is one of the top prospects in the organization, and very, very impressive. Given that the Blue Jays have had some struggles with the 26th man on the roster, I feel like we should see a little bit more of McAdoo. I don't know how we get more of him in the lineup, if it's at first, if it's at third, while Kazuma Okamoto nurses that knee contusion, or maybe you stick him in left field. Can't be worse than Sanchez out there. So, you gotta, I think you just gotta find a way to get this guy in the lineup, because the Blue Jays absolutely need more home run power in this lineup, and McAdoo definitely has some of that in his bat.
I'm really proud of your growth. You did not mention Vladdy.
Well,
I'm so proud of you.
You just brought it up now. Like,
I can.
Well, I did want to bring up Vladdy today. McAdoo does now have more home runs at Rogers Center this year than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. does.
All right.
This doesn't count as you bringing him up. I'm just saying growth for you, Dan. I'm so proud of you.
To hit second with the club in 9 games, which is great. And it's what didn't you say yesterday? What you reminded us in 25, like any lineup configuration that John Schneider put out with the Blue Jays, they found a way to win. I don't know what the number of lineup we're at game 112 or something like that. There've probably been 100 different lineup configurations based on injuries, based on guys moving up and down from AAA back up to the big club, and I think that just continues. And obviously, Schneider's trying to find the right mix, the right sauce, but keep cooking in the lab, because last night we got the W, and that's what matters ultimately as we continue the process of marching towards that third wild card spot.
And no matter what the lineup configuration is, Vladdy will always be hitting second or third. Doesn't matter. No matter what, Vladdy will always be second or third. And I don't necessarily completely disagree with that, as long as Vladdy is around and in the lineup. Now, the thing about this 9-5 stretch, like, there is a lot of good things going on. The Blue Jays are fun again, like more than anything else. The Blue Jays in these last couple of weeks have been fun to watch. They're making plays in the field. They're taking extra bases. They're doing a lot of the things that they did in 2025 that led them to success. Why are they 9-5? More than anything else, it's because of the pitching. They have the third best ERA during this stretch since July 27th, when they started winning all these games. So the ERA, we saw it again last night with Tyone going 4 scoreless, and then Woods Richardson coming in and looking like his breaking stuff actually had some more movement on it than earlier in this season. So all things are pointing in a better direction from the pitching staff. I don't know how they keep doing it, because it just feels like anybody they put on the mound is getting the best version of themselves right now. But the issue is, and has been all season, the lineup. And even during this stretch, they're a bottom 5 OPS team in baseball. So if it's going to continue, yes, the offense does have to get better. If they're going to go on the run that they need to make this a playoff chance, the offense still has to find another gear. And yes, I'm looking at Vladdy, because there has to be a moment at some point this season where he carries the offense, and he's still struggling. Last night I'm looking at Vladdy, and he goes 1 for 4. It's an infield single he ends up with on the docket. Like that's the one hit he ends up with. But I'm looking at the pitch mix he saw last night and his Baseball Savant page, because as I'm watching Vladdy go through his continuous struggles, there is pitches right down the pipe that he is just absolutely missing. Pitches that Vladdy in the past would absolutely myrtleize, and that's just not happening anymore. In the 6th inning, he works a decent count, and that yellow ball right in the middle of the strike zone, that is a sweeper that he ends up popping up. Okay, there is 5 pitches he got total in the strike zone last night. In the upper right quadrant, that one is a called strike. The pitch, the orange one, is the sinker that he hit for an infield single. The other 3 are pop-outs or flyouts. Like, those are right down Main Street. Vladdy showing that there is a better pitch selection from him on what he's swinging on, because chasing has been a problem for him this season, but he's still missing pitches that in prior years he would crush, whether it was for a double or into the seats at Rogers Center. And I've heard a lot of people, and our friend of the show, Rob Wong, tweeting out that Vladdy hit the B in the Budweiser sign in left center field during BP. Great. BP Hall of Famer in 2026, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Need to start seeing it in actual games. There is a development here that he's swinging at better pitches, but the power, where is it? I'm genuinely confused. Is it the hamstring tightness? Is it the lower back issue? If I'm a Blue Jays fan right now and I'm watching Vladdy, it's not just about this year and just being continually frustrated that this guy is not what he used to be. It's more, is the power just gone? Like, what exactly is it? Is it going to return? Because this is not the guy. These are not the swings that the Blue Jays committed $500 million to. And last night was another example of that, where he's swinging at good pitches. He's getting good pitches to hit, but he's not putting a good swing on them. And that's definitely got to change.
Just a quick note, like he did the pitches that for people who are watching this, the pitches that were in the strike zone, he did put bat on ball. That he just popped three of the 4 up.
Yes.
You made it sound like he was swinging and missing those that were right in the strike zone.
He's missing them in that he's not getting the barrel on them.
Okay, but they're not whiffing.
That's my point.
They're not whiffing.
They're not whiffs. They are pop-outs and flyouts. And I did mention that, but the issue here is that these are pitches that Vladdy would crush in the past, okay? And when he's not getting the barrel on the ball, his exit velo on all of his hits this year is way down. For a guy that this is supposed to be his superpower, right, is that he hits the ball incredibly hard. Even if he isn't leading the majors in home runs, he's one of the guys that hits the ball hardest in the league, whether it's top 5, top 10. That's been his track record in the league for the entirety of his career until this season. And last night he was getting pitches to hit, and yes, he did get bat on ball, but he's not getting the barrel on the ball. And that, you're watching his swings and you're like, this is a different guy. And that's the question mark here. This is a different guy. And I know how good and how talented Vladdy is. I'm just waiting to see it again. And because of this whole iteration of the Blue Jays, this era of the Blue Jays is built around Vladdy. It's scary what this could look like moving forward if this guy doesn't start doing the things that we had come accustomed and used to seeing him doing so often.
Well, Vladdy is something that we've spoken about at length for the last couple of months, having the opportunity
because it's an unprecedented drop-off in Major League history.
But I'm saying everybody, we can talk about this later and tomorrow and the next day and the next day, but everybody is still talking about that insanity that happened in the 7th inning, including in our chat right now. And Kevin, I want to bring you into this because Andy has been bringing up some random moments that have happened in Blue Jays history. And I feel like you may have some kind of list to talk about other moments besides that insane moment in the 7th that still is kind of confusing that have happened to the Jays.
Lindsay, thank you. I did bring along a top 3 weirdest plays inside the Skydome / Rogers Center in the last 30-ish years. And it starts in, go ahead, Zach, and roll these pictures because we don't want to get flagged here. It starts in the 1992 World Series. Atlanta and Toronto, Game 3, top of the 4th. 0-0 score. Juan Guzman is pitching to David Justice. 2 runners on. He lines a shot to center field. Devon White makes a spectacular catch at the wall. He doubles up Terry Pendleton at first. That's the second out. John Olerud throws over to Kelly Gruber, who tags Deion Sanders for the 3rd out. Now that was not ruled a triple play. It should have been. Toronto won that game 3-2. Then the bat flip game, 2015 ALDS, game 5, top of the 7th. Game is tied 2-2. Rougned Odor is at 3rd. When Russell Martin throws the ball back to Aaron Sanchez on the mound, it goes off of Shin Soo Choo's bat, which makes it a live ball. Odor scores, and Russell Martin's like, what? I was just returning the ball back to the pitcher. That run became 3-2 Texas, and then later on, Jose Bautista launches a 3-run shot at the Dome for the bat flip game, and then this one. And the Blue Jays won 6-3. Game 6 of the World Series, the Dodgers are up 3-1 in the bottom of the 9th. Sasaki's pitching. Miles Straw is on first base. Alejandro Kirk got hit by the pitch. Barger launches a pitch to left center field. The ball wedges under the protective covering here. Justin Dean is the center fielder. He throws his hands up. It's a dead ball. Straw and Barger have to return to second and third base. And then when Tyler Glasnow pitches later, Jimenez lines out to left field. Kike Hernandez makes the catch and doubles up Addison Barger at second base. Toronto lost Game 6 of the World Series 3-1, and then they lost the World Series in Game 7. So you have a triple play that wasn't called a triple play, and the umpire who was standing over Kelly Gruber, who did see the tag but did not call Deion Sanders out, his name was Vaughn Davidson. And then you have Russell Martin throwing the ball back to Aaron Sanchez, which careens into right to down the third baseline. Odor scores, makes it 3-2 Texas. And then, of course, Justin Dean throws his hands up in center field on the Addison Barger shot, and it is a dead ball. Because in the moment, both Straw and Barger score, which would have been 3-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and who knows what happens then. In an alternate reality, Toronto wins in 6, like 4-3 in the 9th inning. But those are the 3 weirdest plays until last night that we've seen at the Dome with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Those are painful plays.
Yeah.
But
I've still not gotten over Game 6 and Game 7, honestly.
I know, they could have won in Game 6. The dead ball thing. I'm like, I remember taking a picture of the stupid wall and looking like, I've never seen this in any game that I've been here as a fan or covering. And then it's just like
last night, legitimately, when Kevin Gausman came in to pinch hit for the Cubs and he was able to hit a sac fly to win the game for the Cubbies, I was like, man, they should have pinch hit Kevin Gausman for Dalton Varsho last year. That's how crazy I am still about Game 6 and 7. But it's man.
I forgot about the Russell Martin play because everyone thinks a bat flip.
Yeah,
everyone thinks of that.
Yeah, that was in the top of the 7th. With the Russell Martin play.
When that play happened, I was just like, man, the Blue Jays will forever be the Blue Jays because of this. Just like when the strangest thing that you would never imagine happening in a baseball game happens, it's going to happen to the Blue Jays at the worst possible moment. I thought they had finally gotten over that until Game 6. And then multiple times in Game 7.
I mean, the last one is the most painful, obviously, because in 92 we did win the World Series. And in 2015 we did beat the Texas Rangers in the ALDS. And then, we lost to Kansas City, but we did win that series. And then obviously with the Dodgers, we did not win that series last year. So last year's still painful. But and also weird in that Russell Martin game, not Russell Martin game, but the Bautista bat flip game in the 7th inning that took like an hour to play. It was weird to see like fans for the first time throw stuff on the field. I was at the game like, we're throwing beers on the field? Like, yes, we are angry as fans. We're protesting this game, but it was just weird to see that behavior from us at that particular moment. Just in general, like throwing stuff on the field. It's not really what Canadians do, but that was just another weird reaction. Not a weird reaction, an understandable reaction to a very weird play. And then Texas getting awarded a run, just like Boston getting awarded a run in the 7th inning, both in the 7th inning in those two random games.
There's one that comes to mind, and it's not really a strange play, but it is, and I'm going deep into the archives with this one. I think it was 2007 because I just looked the play up. Alex Rodriguez, the Jays are up on the Yankees in the 9th inning. Third
base.
There's a pop-up between third and short, and A-Rod is like slowly jogging it out with 2 outs, and he yells "mine" as he's jogging through, and the Blue Jays, I think it was John McDonald was among them that like, okay, like he heard "mine" and he just like stepped away from the ball and it drops. The Yankees go on to rally and end up winning the game afterwards. And it was just like, man, A-Rod is just such a deplorable athlete. But, I mean, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, I guess. That was so that one was a strange one that comes to mind because how did you not know it was A-Rod's voice? Don't you know your teammates' voices out there?
Well, you just hear mine.
They don't know.
I don't know. I give them a pass a little bit. Was it? There was a similar a play with A-Rod. I think it was with Toronto where he's like trying to leg out a ground ball, and then he pushes the first baseman's glove, and the first baseman drops the ball. But he wasn't. The umpire rules him out, but it was because of interference. But you just never see someone who's like running to first to be safe, and then just pushes the glove of the first baseman. Like I think that happened in the same season, and I want to say against Toronto, but it just another play where A-Rod was absolutely cheating to be trying to be winning baseball games.
Are there any like Leafs related ones in a similar sense? Like, would you consider the high stick to be one of them?
The Doug Gilmour
high stick on Doug Gilmour by Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah,
like
that one.
Is that in the similar category? The one I think of, and I was trying to figure out if there was any others like this, is the Justin Hall pick against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Do you remember that one? Game 6, I believe it was a tie. They tied the game in the 3rd period.
And it gets called back because of a Tavares pick.
Yes. Justin Hall pick. John Tavares scored. Yes.
John Tavares scored. They end up calling it an interference play that maybe gets called 1% of the time in the National Hockey League, and certainly never in the playoffs, but it happened to the Leafs. This isn't really a strange play, but Florida got away with it. The forearm shiver that Sam Bennett gave to Anthony Stolarz that completely changed the series with the Leafs and the Florida Panthers.
Oh, yes.
Tossing him. Yeah.
And like you're looking at every replay, I'm like, yeah, he definitely gives Stolarz a bit of an elbow, and it's like, well, guess the league didn't see it that way.
Yeah, entered himself into the series. Sam Bennett did there with that one, but I don't know. I was just trying to think if there's any that are like similar in the hockey sense. I don't know. Maybe like I think back to like the bubble. Montreal series, there was a guy who flipped a puck over the glass. I think that one maybe is in the similar where the Leafs ended up having to go on the penalty kill. I don't remember. Anybody remember who the player was who did that?
No. The neon knee with Tavares in that series.
Oh, yeah, the Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a strange one. It happens less in hockey because baseball is just so unique in this way, right? Where you don't have a lot of crazy happenstances in a similar way when it comes to hockey.
Sports in general, just sometimes they're just such weird moments. And in the chat, someone bringing up is Savage getting surgery. So the update there is he got an MRI looking at his knee injury. We will get an update today from John Schneider. Trey went and saw a specialist, but they won't know the results till today. I
would say it doesn't sound good.
It doesn't.
I don't want to be pessimistic about it. I hope the best for Trey Savage, but the fact that it's taken this long, generally, it's not a good sign.
Even when he was speaking to some of the media, when he was talking to us, it just did not sound optimistic. But there also was another unique injury update involving a pitcher that was diagnosed with Morton's neuroma.
Morton's neuroma? I've never heard of this.
Honestly, I've never heard of this, and it was Spencer.
Which pitcher? Who's
Spencer
Arrighetti.
Yeah, sorry.
Spencer. Oh, okay. Who we just traded for?
Just traded for, and he's been dealing with some injury or discomfort for like pretty much the entire
He
season.
has a thing in his right foot, right? He's got a
nerve.
nerve
So it's a right
issue.
foot nerve injury, which causes skin and tissue to build up around the nerve. And so Schneider told us yesterday before the game that it's like the equivalent of constantly playing with like a rock in your shoe or walking around with a in your shoe. I'm like, also first time ever hearing of this.
Yes.
Let's add this to the season. And you feel for him because like he was in the clubhouse yesterday, and I know like a couple of guys went and spoke to him. You're just like,
I mean, he had the issue when the Jays made the trade, Varsho
Yes.
for Arrighetti, and I'm curious. Obviously it's just been diagnosed, so maybe the Jays doctors, after it flared up in his rehab start with Buffalo, were able to get a better look at it. A painful condition that thickens the tissue around a nerve leading to your toes, usually between the third and fourth toes. It causes sharp, burning pain, tingling, or the feeling that you are walking on a small stone in the ball of your
Dr.
foot.
Dan.
That sounds awful.
That
I don't know about you
terrible.
guys, but how annoying is it when you have a rock in your shoe that's just constantly nagging you, and to have that happen all the time, especially when you're trying to pitch at a very high level? I can only imagine how difficult that is for Spencer. So hopefully they get it sorted out. They're still figuring out if he can pitch through it.
Yes.
I think was the update from John Schneider.
And if not, then they'll look at other measures, which would obviously be surgery. So that
Who's going to pitch for this team? I mean, I'm genuinely curious because Tyone leaving
Bateman.
yesterday after four innings.
no, yeah. So we'll have an
Scherzer's
update on
been
that.
pitching better. Bieber's been pitching better. The bullpen's been
Cease is
unbelievable,
fantastic.
but guys just keep dropping like flies. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know
I
who's
spoke to-
been?
who?
Oh, go. Sorry, you
Sorry,
spoke
no.
to. Go ahead, Linz.
I was going to say Brett Bateman. He was a pitcher in high school.
Oh, yeah?
So maybe they can just bring anybody up ever in the Jays that have ever thrown out a pitch. Miles Straw, Cabby, we both know Miles can throw no heat, but he can throw some pitches that people strike out on.
Yeah, like 34 mile an hour lobs that guys just they're so frustrated in the box. Like, please just throw me 60. Don't throw me 35. Don't throw me 37. You know who's been here's a question. Has Ross Atkins finessed Minnesota twice? The Minnesota Twins general manager is a guy named Jeremy Zoll. But the Louis Varland, I went to look at it again. Louis Varland was acquired by Toronto July 31st, 2025, along with Ty France for Alan Roden and Kendrys Rojas. Have you heard these names since the trade on July 31st, 2025?
No, sir.
You have not. And then August 3rd, 2026, Ross Atkins sends Minnesota Jeff Hoffman and some cash considerations. Toronto's going to pay a little under $4 million of his 2027 salary, and we get a haul of young prospects. But Hoffman so far in 4 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 6 Ks, 2.25 ERA. Like, pretty good ERA. Not what he was given Toronto before he left. But I wonder, like, has Ross Atkins been finessing other GMs other than this guy, Jeremy Zoll, of the Minnesota Twins? Because Louis Varland is a legitimate superstar for our team, not league-wide, but for our team, the most dependable, most reliable, and like the best player, or him and Dylan Cease so far in the 2026 season.
Well, the interesting part about this, the report yesterday about the Jays and Twins almost hooking up for a Jose Soriano trade after the Jays had acquired Soriano from the Angels. Apparently the Twins and the Cubs were among teams to reach out to Toronto to see if the Jays were interested in moving Soriano again, and they were almost able to procure the organization's number 3 prospect, Kalen Culpepper, from the Minnesota Twins, which is absolutely wild because, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this happened a few years ago in the NHL. Mike Hoffman got traded from the Senators to the San Jose Sharks, and then the San Jose Sharks were like, we didn't want Mike Hoffman, actually. We just know that we can get a better package for Mike Hoffman than you can because you don't want to trade him in division. And then they flipped him to the Florida Panthers for a better package than what they traded Mike Hoffman to the Ottawa Senators. That's what this kind of reminded me of. Ultimately, it did not happen for reasons unknown. But if the Blue Jays were able to get Culpepper for Jose Soriano, that could have been maybe your shortstop of the future. Ultimately, the Jays have decided, you know what, we need Soriano for our rotation over the next few years. We kind of need pitchers.
Yeah, we do need pitchers. Hey,
shout out crazy how that all happened.
Shout out to our current shortstop, Andres Jimenez, who in the last 4 games is 7 RBI. You said one of the rare compliments that you've given a player in our group chat, Stan. You said Andres Jimenez is clutch AF, and he delivered a single or a double last night, which scored George Springer, and then gave the, I think we have the video here, or do we have the video of his celebration at home at second base? He's like,
I did want to bring this up. I mean, like, is this new for all the players or just him?
But I'm not sure. You guys can take a look and come to your own judgment.
Yeah, I put this in the chat because, first of all, I see George doing this, his just celebration running, and then right here he does this. I'm like, I have not seen him do that before.
Jimenez singles to right field and Springer scores. So Springer runs off the field like he's a 7-year-old boy, just waving his arms. He's super excited. It's 2-0 Blue Jays. And then Jimenez points to his veins as though he's getting like an injection of something. But to me, I'm like, that just to me tells me that he's saying I'm ice cold. There's ice in these veins. However, it could be interpreted in a different manner.
When I saw that immediately, I'm like, I've not seen him do this before. Mm-hmm. How are we interpreting this? Which some of them were just like, it's in their veins. Is this a new on-base celebration? I'm like, I only saw him do that. So I like that, ice in his veins. But George and how he ran off after coming in, I'm like, this guy. Like, I know he gets a lot of flack. He didn't have a terrible game yesterday, but he does constantly bring the energy. And a fun clubhouse update is, so where George sits, it's all the way in the corner. And beside him used to be his buddy Dalton Varsho. There was nobody around him, so he made Nathan Lucas move beside him so he had a friend.
Sounds like George.
Yeah. But yeah, Jimenez has been fantastic.
Jimenez in clutch situations has been really good for the Blue Jays for years, and this goes into the playoffs last year. Certainly recently, he's come up with a lot of big hits for the season. He's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. This guy, I was curious when John Schneider moved him up into the 6th spot last night. He proved me wrong. Shout out to Andres Jimenez because he just seemingly always seems to come up with some kind of a base hit to drive a runner in when the Jays need it most, especially over the last week and a bit.
So I love the chat. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Clayton saying the back to the weird moment that happened in the 7th sounded like him trying to speak at a public event, nervous and terrified. Yeah. It's just like, still, what happened?
Yes.
Where
Chris
are we
Guccione
going?
is that guy's name, the crew chief.
And he spoke because after every game you have this option in every league that there can be a reporter that goes and speaks to the ump or refs if there's a call or something, and he did speak to one of the Boston reporters trying to explain again the ruling, why it took too long, how why they came to the conclusion, which for the most part is still not satisfying anybody. It's like
the whole situation, especially the explanation of it, was sending me.
I know.
It's like you're going for 18 holes. You tell your partner, I'll be back in 4 or 5 hours. You end up coming back 8 hours later and maybe a little tipsy, and you're like, that's the story you're giving. John was the 19th hole and. I was really, really backed up today. We were 4 or 5 groups, all backed up, 16th hole, and
those umpires.
That's kind of what the umps sound like.
That guy probably hadn't seen him play like that before either. He's probably like, I think I learned this in 1997.
They admitted that they didn't know the rule. That's pretty big of umpires to be like, we needed a rule check from New York on this one because the 4th out rule doesn't happen all that often.
I need to bring in a new potential nickname for George Springer, but
What's
I will
that?
wait until after this clip plays because it's being suggested online. So Brett Bateman, who I mentioned
Yes.
a moment ago, rookie, he was involved in the trade with Gausman and the Cubs. He had his MLB debut over the weekend. He swung at the first pitch, got a double. He also got his first RBI. He played in Toronto yesterday for the first time as a member of the Blue Jays. We spoke to him exclusively, and this is just part of the answer where he says, who has helped, him kind of adjust to what has been a whirlwind week. He said he understood the weight of him being traded for somebody who is so beloved like Gausman, and he credits Miles Straw and George Springer for helping him adapt. And then we'll get to the nickname. Take a listen.
Straw for sure. I think he did a pretty good job of just calming me down right away. He was like, you only debut once, take it all in, but he was also kind of like, you're a big leaguer now, and realize that this is, who you are, this is where you are. And you got the call up, so you deserve it. So don't play scared, play your game, play normal. And then Springer as well. Springer is kind of known as, at least what I've heard, as the young guy's father. Telling guys what you should do, what they shouldn't do, kind of stuff like that. And he helped to kind of calm the nerves a little bit, and just you're in the lineup for a reason. And then even leading off against Luzardo, he's they trust you as an org, so just go put good at bats together, and whatever happens. So
Daddy Springer.
Yeah.
I am not the
Daddy
internet.
Springer.
I put that clip out because I'm like, oh, that's really nice. They calmed him down, and everyone's like, ooh, Daddy Springer, Daddy Springer. I'm like, please stop.
Did they give him
Please
a contract
stop.
for 2027 to be team dad? Or
The Garrett Temple of the team.
he's
He's
given a little bit more than Garrett
Yeah.
Temple, Garrett Temple
Sorry,
is
sorry.
the conga line, but George Springer at least has delivered some hits
Playing.
for the Blue Jays this season.
Udonis Haslam.
Oh yeah, you do.
Is he now? Is George Springer is he someone's zaddy though?
Yeah. Well,
Oh my god, I'm so upset. This question's out there.
Chris Tanev, okay, and this is
Zaddy?
8 years ago when I first started covering the Canucks, and Quinn Hughes first joined the Canucks. Quinn Hughes would refer to Chris Tanev as his dad. So Chris Tanev 8 years ago, or pretty much 8 years, 6 or 7 years ago, was team dad in Vancouver, and now he's still in Toronto. Hopefully we get the best version of Chris Tanev this year. Now that he's 36.
More recently, Patrick Marleau was the team
Oh, yeah.
dad for Mitchie
Yes.
and Austin in his tenure with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And was that 5 years ago now, or 6 years ago?
Yeah. He got his
Really
playoff
instilled
instincts too. That's unfortunate.
Winning culture brought here.
Oh man.
Apparently, Macklin Celebrini lives with Joe Thornton. I heard that recently, but I'm not. I have to confirm it. But another guy who could be, the team dad, because Jumbo, his laugh, his
Yes.
personality, his gregariousness in any any dressing room on any squad he would absolutely fill that role.
But is he a zaddy cabbie?
That I will have to
this
do
is
some
where we're at.
investigating. Is he a zaddy? I mean, possibly.
investigating.
I mean, everybody's got their thing.
Well, yeah, someone who's not a zaddy, Nick Nurse. So right now, the former head coach of the Toronto Raptors.
Maybe.
Unless you're like Dan right now and one of your contacts isn't in. Oh, I'm being really mean. I'm sorry. Nick Nurse is currently suing Ontario.
I can't see out of my left eye, but thank
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Lindsay. For,
No, his contacts
wow,
doesn't
okay.
work. So this, I know, we're just going outside sports for a moment, but I don't wear glasses or have contacts. Cabby, do you?
lucky.
No.
Okay, so I don't. Dan's like,
Oh,
I
wow.
can't see right now. I'm like, I look at him like, are you
can't
having
see
a
out of
stroke?
my left eye.
If
I can
someone
still
says
see,
that, I thought he was
just not
having
very
a
well.
stroke. He's like, my vision's blurry. I'm like, what is happening? And he's like, oh, my contacts isn't working. I'm like, this is normal?
Well, it happens every now and again, and I can't fix it right now. So
Yeah.
we're just living with one good eye. But otherwise, I'm pretty much legally blind. So that's. That's what contacts are for. Cabby, you've never looked better though. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you. Continue
The story.
this No,
Sorry.
continue. Yeah. Say more, Dan. Go ahead. No.
So the Nick Nurse is suing Ontario for rejected $700,000 tax refund. So this story broke yesterday. They're taking the Ontario government to court over the province's refusal to refund nearly $700,000 in foreign buyer's tax the couple paid on a Mississauga home back in, I think, 2023. So that is a little somewhat Raptors update. But Dan, I need an update. Our daily check-in. Is Kawhi Leonard officially a Raptor?
Let's just do a quick Google search here. Is Kawhi Leonard a Raptor? No. Still hasn't. Trade still hasn't been concluded.
But we did hear from Kawhi. There's a new video from him. If Zach,
Another
you could roll
one?
a tape. Yes, there is.
Let's
Gavin.
go.
I'll meet you August 22nd at the Wuhan, right? August 22nd. I'm booking my ticket right now. I'm about to lock all y'all up. Yep. August 22nd. Got you at the Wuhan. I'm locking all y'all up.
I mean, this is the most we've ever heard from this man. Like, teammates of his, Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, they've never heard that many words. And they played with this guy for a whole year. He said fewer words in a whole season with the Toronto Raptors than he did in that video. And it's kind of weird hearing the word Wuhan. Just because it's so politically charged.
Yes.
And like what has happened in the United States the last week with Anthony Fauci having to speak to the Senate committee or whatever. Like it's just I know we obviously know it's a town or a province in China, but just when you hear that word, it's like, oh, or that place.
But
salute to Kawhi.
Kawhi is just like, I'll see you at the Wuhan, and not I'll see you in Wuhan. No, I'll see you at the Wuhan. Like, what is this? What do you mean? This is the most promotional activity that we've seen from Kawhi Leonard ever. Because even when he's had to do commercials, like the less said, the better. It's like Keanu Reeves in John Wick. You know, like fewer lines are better for you, Keanu. And that's the way we're gonna go about this. That's been Kawhi Leonard's entire, promotional material catalog, and so much to the point that he didn't want to do any promotional material for other deals he may or may not have.
He's going the other way now, Dan. It's like he's like, oh, there are reports of me not doing any promotional stuff. Oh no, I do promotional stuff. Yeah. What is it? An aspiration deal? I wasn't supposed to do anything, or the Daktronics deal? I wasn't. No. Guys, that's false. Look at me. I'm doing stuff. Here's my promotional. Meet me at the Wuhan. And you guys know what the Wuhan is. You guys know how to get there. Meet me at the Wuhan. Meet me at the Wu-Tang. Anyway.
What day? August 22nd.
Yeah,
August 22nd.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be August 22nd.
There were reports yesterday, though, from Jake Fisher that Kawhi is operating this offseason as if he will be a Raptor on opening night of the NBA season. So
I forgot there was a point to me showing the video that there was actual news. Sorry.
That is the latest update in all of this, and just seeing more of the fallout of like how this investigation is going to go. Listening to some of what Michael Grange was saying yesterday, essentially there isn't really much of a There isn't much of a precedence to punish Kawhi in circumventing the cap. It would be either his contract is voided, he has to pay back whatever shady deals that get flagged here by the NBA through this investigation, but there's no like precedence for a suspension. It's either contract is voided or you got to pay this stuff back. So that's a really interesting wrinkle in all this. If the Clippers are taking the brunt of the punishment, it kind of makes more sense from that perspective for the Raptors. Obviously, they didn't want to take on Kawhi if his contract was potentially going to get voided. So I'm curious to see how Adam Silver solves all of this. It feels like we are getting closer to a conclusion, but who knows? There might be another Pablo Torre wrinkle showing up next week in our inboxes
for sure
that changed the story yet again. But it does feel, and hearing that report yesterday, clearly, and Kawhi showing up at Kyle Lowry's retirement and being around Raptors Summer League, he is making sure that he's going to be a Raptor for the start of the NBA season.
Cabby, I guess you probably do, but if you had like an extra 1.1 million hanging around USD, would you buy Cooper Flag's 1-of-1 rookie card? It was recently found in Rhode Island. It is expected to go for over $1.1 million.
I mean, if I had like 300 M's in the bank, then yeah, I would consider that an investment. I mean, he's now under the guise of Lord Masai Ujiri as the president of operations for Dallas, and he's going to build a winner around that young fella. So if he stays healthy, which is the biggest caveat for any professional athlete, sky's the limit. Bro, didn't he drop a 50 piece last year? Like, bro was broken hoop. So yeah, but again, the bigger caveat is, Lindsay, if I had 300 M's in the bank, then I could splurge 1.1 mil on a 1-of-1 Cooper Flag card, which in recent news, like in the past 2 weeks, there was a Macklin Celebrini like gold foil card that popped up, like somebody it broke a pack, and I think that was going for about 600,000 or 700,000. One of these 1-of-1 cards. So cards are kind of making or I think they did during the pandemic, made a resurgence because people were sitting around, they had some money to spend. But it's I don't know. What would you do if you had 300 M's in the bank? Would you splurge 1.1, Lindsay, on this 1-of-1 Cooper Flag card?
No, because I'm irresponsible and I lose everything. I have had 32 bank cards in my lifetime, guys. It has a little number in the corner if you're Royal Bank of Canada. Yeah, and I have had 32. I currently don't know where my bank card is for the last 6 months, but thankfully you can put it on your phone. Yeah, but I just have it on my phone and I check my statement. I'm like, there we are. But
Apple Pay for the win.
Apple Pay for the win. But I'm really thinking I got a steal of a deal because I found a Toronto Blue Jays Whit Merrifield card for $1 the other day.
Oh, wow.
I'm just thinking now I got the best deal ever.
Don't think that's worth much.
It was $1 Canadian.
I remember when I worked at the card shop and I was just breaking people's hearts. Like they'd come in and they'd be like, "Hey, are my cards worth anything?" I actually did this with an old colleague where he was like, "Oh, so you know stuff about sports cards, right? Like, can you come look at my collection and tell me if anything's worth anything?" And he showed me this box and I was like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope." Nope. These are all worth nothing. Sorry, you've been collecting this your entire life and saving it in this special box of yours. And I could not have been more heartless while I went through this. But yeah, none of these are worth literally anything.
You've been Danny Downer for such a long time, man.
I did not expect that conversation to go that way.
Yeah, I did not even realize how heartless I was being in the moment. I'd just gotten so used to telling people like, "Oh yeah, your 1991 baseball card of Chipper Jones rookie, it was mass produced and it's not worth anything."
Oh my god.
So sorry.
Did anything come through though that you're like, okay, this is worth a pretty coin? Because I remember on a previous episode you spoke about people bringing jock straps for people to sign, but did you see any cards that were worth any coin?
We used to keep the Honus Wagner cards in the vault and stuff, like the ones that came in the old cigarette packs, pre-war cards. Like those were the cool ones that you'd see. I remember people cracking boxes, and there was one guy, I'll never forget it. He he cracked a whole case of Topps Chrome and I don't know, whenever Clayton Kershaw was a rookie, and he was looking for just the Clayton Kershaw card, and he ends up pulling a Prince Fielder rookie, and he was just like, "Man, this is crap. This guy's gonna suck. He's nothing like his father." And then Prince Fielder ended up having a pretty solid career. So, and he just ripped it up right on the spot, and I'm like, "You're an idiot."
Wait, he actually ripped the card up?
Yeah.
Wow, that's harsh. It was almost blasphemy.
It was pretty intense, but there was. People would bring a lot of weird stuff, but mostly they would get their hearts broken. Hey, I'm looking to sell off some of these cards. I think they're worth something. Been holding on to them for a long time. Yeah, no, they're not worth anything. Sorry.
I just looked up how much McCain Fry's trading cards are.
McCain Fries?
Yeah, I got one last year that said Little Spud. You can't even sell them. Nobody wants them. This is just a disappointing day altogether.
Apparently the most expensive card ever sold is a Pikachu card for $16.5 million.
Somebody explain the Pokemon
or
stuff
Logan
to me.
Paul?
One of the Pauls sold it. Yes, that's correct.
That's so annoying.
Second most expensive is a
annoying.
LeBron James and Kobe Bryant dual logo man, sold for $12.9 million.
I can get behind that.
Is it signed? Or is it just the card?
I would imagine so. I would imagine that it's signed. But In any case, Cards have blown up. Absolutely, they have blown up. And it's kind of crazy how much they've blown up.
Well, win me some money so I can buy some. It's now time for your Proline pick of the day. This isn't the old Proline. The new app makes betting baseball easier than ever. Enjoy more props and same-game parlays all baseball season long on the new Proline app.
Yes, as is our duty on this show, we continue to search for the first Vladimir Guerrero Jr. home run at Rogers Center. I was feeling more optimistic after he hit the home run in Philadelphia on Saturday. And after speaking about it earlier and seeing some of his swings last night, it's not looking great. But we will stick with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the card. We will also have Blue Jays over 4.5 runs for tonight's game. Look, they need the wins where they can get them right now. The Red Sox, you've got Dylan Cease going up against Patrik Sandoval. This is a game the Blue Jays are heavily favored in. Get Dylan Cease the dub, send him on his Cy Young train, and make something of this 2026 Blue Jays season. Tonight they'll get over 4.5 runs. Give some run support to their ace and potential Cy Young winner.
Wow. These picks are for entertainment purposes only, folks. I'm going to the late game, the Dodgers and the Kansas City Royals. The Dodgers get a previous Cy Young Award winner back in their rotation. Blake Snell makes his second start of the season. He's returning from the 60-day IL from elbow surgery to remove loose bodies and cartilage in his left pitching elbow. He might be on a pitching restriction tonight, so I'm going under 6.5 strikeouts for Blake Snell versus the Kansas City Royals tonight. That is the play. Again, these picks are for entertainment purposes only. So, folks, away we go.
Let's go. For entertainment purposes only, let's hear about multimillionaires who think that they don't make enough money. Dan, take it away.
I can't be the only one.
What's happening?
What's heated about this?
I can't be the only one that was a little triggered when reading this story from Front Office Sports. And the headline reads, athletes are saying that their multi-million-dollar contracts aren't as big as they might seem. One, yes, of course. I wonder if athletes know, literally everybody pays tax, So we know your $150 million contract isn't actually $150 million. But as you read the story, they kind of go through it and they say, oh, it's not worth at nearly as much as you think. We are victims of financial fraud. Literally anybody can be a victim of financial fraud. Old people are targeted all the time. This is not an athletes only kind of a thing. And also, when we get our first big contracts, we have to guard ourselves from spending big. Yes, literally everybody has to have a budget, even if you have millions and billions of dollars in your bank account. And as Lindsay and Zach both pointed out to me, NBA and NHL teams conduct educational classes for athletes at the start of every season on how to budget and spend their money properly. So I don't know. Maybe the messenger should have been different on this one. Hey, I don't know if you guys making over hundreds of millions of dollars should be the ones delivering this message that your contracts aren't as big as they might seem. Sorry, JJ Redick. I'm not really feeling a ton of sympathy for you.
They should have big caveats. Yes, their contracts, what are announced to the public is obviously not what they take home. And they're 50% off the top is just taken immediately. Here you go, Uncle Sam. So yeah, they're right. It's just that the tone and needing the caveats to say, we're blessed. And we're this, some could say, hey, because of my talent, I put myself in this position to earn these contracts and earn this money, which is also true. But for the fan who looks at these guys with jealous eyes and admiration, the blow needs to be a little bit softened. I mean, an additional tax that regular people don't pay is hey man, can I borrow $5,000? Can I borrow $10,000? Hey, can you pay? To be expected to be RBC, as Lindsay had mentioned, if Lindsay is the millionaire in the group, always to be expected to put down that RBC checking account card or hold up her phone to pay for all the meals, pay for all the travel, pay for the gifts at Christmas. I mean, this is a tax. It is not. It doesn't make them broke, but being the generous, I don't know, you out earning your parents and being the one breadwinner in the whole family it's got to be, that's some pressure that none of us live with. So yes, there could be the tone needs to be set and the caveat needs to be made. Hey, we make a lot of money, but we don't make as much as you guys might think because of these factors. What is it? GQ has this great video series, How I Spent My First Million. And in there, it's like a car, house, agent, taxes, lawyer, like 55 to 60% is out the door before. As soon as they hit the DocuSign, it's like, these are, and this is part of the financial literacy and education that the players, the players are given at, in the off season or before they become professionals. So I think, Dan, you would have little sympathy if someone who earned, who grossed $100 million.
Okay, Draymond Green is one of the people that was talking about this, and sure, you need content for your podcast or whatever, Draymond. But you made $255 million.
Well,
total
he didn't make that much, Dan. That's part of the thing.
Okay, your gross earnings. Yeah, you know what? Regular folk, your gross earnings might be $100K a year. We all know you're not going away with $100K a year, even if that is your yearly salary from whomever it might be that's paying you that money. Everybody has to pay tax. We understand. Regular folk, smart folk understand, yes, you're paying tax on your $255 million, but I'm not going to feel any sympathy for somebody making $255 million and doesn't know how to budget it. Figure it out. You hired a bad financial advisor. Guess what? Regular folks hire bad financial advisors too. It happens.
Yeah,
it's
but these guys are
unfortunate.
targets, though, bro.
Of course they're targets. Yes, it's different. I understand. But again, I'm just not going to feel sympathy for you because this is things that regular folk deal with as well.
A fun little nugget to add to the whole Blue Jays scenario that happened in the 7th, to just bring it back to that when we close out the show, is that someone said a weird thing that this happened almost 10 years ago to the date, the same scenario. It happened in Fort Wayne and what is it, Lansing, Lugnuts,
Michigan?
Sorry. Yeah.
The Lansing Lugnuts.
The Lansing Lugnuts. And guess who was the manager during that game?
John Schneider?
Yeah.
No way. Wow.
Because he's been with the Blue Jays organization for literally ever.
So yeah, I just looked it up, and it in fact did happen in that game. And oh wow. Anyways, that's fun. Just random. Speaking of not fun though, the Toronto Tempo are on a 9-game losing streak after losing yesterday. And Dan, we have a guest on tomorrow where their team not doing so well. But is the rebuild over? According to Keith Elliott is.
We will ask Jason Hernandez tomorrow, GM of Toronto FC. Will be on off the roster tomorrow. It's been a tough first half of the season for Toronto FC. As we've mentioned here on the show, are they trending upwards? They've made some midseason moves. They're back at home after the World Cup for the first time. They got a long climb up, back up the MLS standings. We'll talk to Jason Hernandez tomorrow.
I got one more piece of soccer news here for you guys.
Yep.
Infantino, he has a public supporter. If you had to guess who Infantino's public supporter is, who do you think
they
it would
have a
be?
really bad fake orange tan? And right now there's some speculation they're wearing a toupee.
Lindsay, you are the winner of today's trivia. You are correct.
Boom!
Would be
The worst
Infantino's
trivia
supporter.
ever.
Yeah. And quote, it'd be a terrible mistake to oust
Huge mistake.
FIFA boss.
It would be a terrible mistake. Just terrible. He's a good man. Very good man.
I agree to that.
Not bad.
All right. Thank you for joining us for Off the Roster. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Peace, everyone.
Oh my gosh. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and to subscribe to the Off the Roster YouTube channel.